Hammer over your head. But my name is Douglas.
Douglas, I'm
Right.
sorry.
Now, is it Andy or Andrew?
Andy spoke and Andy written.
Okay, but don't call you late for dinner. Great. My name is Douglas Sharofnovich. I wear two hats, Aries, Region 2, DEC, Paul's equivalent from Region 1, and also State Education Coordinator. Today we're going to be talking about go, go, go. Go boxes, go kits, and go bags. Well, I won't really do much about bags tonight, but I want to talk about these terms and things that we're going to be using. Does everyone understand this concept of blue sky and black sky? Okay. Blue sky is wearing rosy colored glasses and thinks everything's going to work forever and nothing is ever going to go bad. Black sky is when the sticks on the tower go flying, you're off your house, the towers come down, there's no power, life is bad, or the day after. So if I use those terms, you'll understand what I'm talking about, okay? Typically when we're doing our public service events, it's a blue sky event. Everything's working. Life is good. But when we talk about Aries, and that's going to be my frame of reference, it's always the black sky event the day after and subsequent days. So with that said, let's keep going. When all else fails, amateur radio. You know that, you've seen it around lots of times. And that's because, in fact, I have a problem with the Aries name, Amateur Radio Emergency Service. We're not an emergency service, we're more a disaster service. It's because everything works very nicely here in Connecticut. They spend a lot of money reinforcing the systems, but everything works until it doesn't. And at that time, when it doesn't, it becomes a disaster. And I tell my folks in Region 2, my area coordinator for DEMIS, just give me 2 hours warning, we'll be there. But we don't expect to be called and do much, but still. Hey, remember Katrina, 2005?
No.
No? Anyone go down to support that relief effort? Yes, sir?
Not for radio, but yeah, for rebuilding.
Okay, great. And you saw the damage firsthand.
Yeah.
How did it scar your memory?
Well, yes. I mean, we were driving through this lovely area by the beach, and the guy said, well, this is really lovely, but those were all houses. There was nothing left, just foundations. So you saw people who lost absolutely everything. All their stuff, everything.
Everything. The previous DEC for Region 5 went down, and he was been directed to go to a corner where there was a church. No church. Gone. Anyway, Irene. Who remembers Irene? What did Irene do down here in Stamford? Much of anything?
No, a lot of trees down, power lines down. Mm-hmm. Some houses along the shoreline damaged.
Well, Milford, I lost power for 4 days because of slow recovery and some real major trees coming down over the power lines. But the good news about Irene is it did a lot of tree trimming naturally for subsequent storms. And of course, there was Hurricane Sandy. Superstorm, tropical storm, whatever you want to hit it. And that's really nice. That's really nice about storms here in Connecticut, is they typically start to moderate by the time they hit Long Island and then come across to us. And they're typically many times a tropical storm. Not that tropical storms won't give damage, but it's something to be aware of. Unlike the storm of 1938, was it?
Yeah.
Whoa.
The anniversary, that was just a couple of
That's right.
Will you tell us what it was like?
I've seen the movies. Okay. I talk about a cascade of failures during an event such as those. First one being power lines go down. You lose electricity. Second, you lose cell phones. But that's an artificial first loss. Why? Oversubscription of the cell sites. I saw a few years, maybe 8 years ago, there was a power outage coming up from the Bronx up the coastline, and I was in Costco in Milford, and lights went out. And I heard the power line, on the radio. And then they went out in Costco, and so I flipped up my cell phone. Nothing. because of oversubscription. So that's a false first failure of cell phones. Next, you lose your internet connection because of wires and other things. Then later your regular telephone, but just before that, that's typically when your cell phones will also die. And then according with everything else, your fax lines will die. How many people know that Connecticut still lives on fax machines in Demas? If the fax lines don't work, they've got a problem. Unless you're using amateur radio. Principle number 1, this is a really good, happy thought. I want you to keep it in your mind. Read after me, together. Things will get better. Sometime after they've become considerably worse. Okay.
And sometimes they skip the better stage and just go to the even more worse.
That's the next slide, should be the next slide.
Right. But this is so true. And from a Chula Vista Police Department observation. Woodmont, when Irene, I believe, was hitting, of course, then we had Cozy Beach, also in the Milford area, actually New Haven area, East Haven. Down trees and wires, supersaturation winds, the bug out, mandatory evacuation orders, which leads typically to what?
Loading.
Chaos.
Shelters. That's where we come into a lot of help and play. So again, all of this is what I'm leading up to is the scenarios where you might be called upon to use your Go Bag, Go Kit, and your Go Box, your Go Kit, and your Go Bag. Where will you be? Well, you could be at home, you could be portable somewhere, or you could be mobile. Those are your 3 choices. Well, actually a 4th, or 6 feet under. But
Not yet, anyway.
not yet. But this is what we have to think about. Where are you going to be? And if you're wherever you are, will you have what you need to get the job done? And remember I talked about blue sky thinking? All I need is an HT with the original manufacturer's rubber ducky antenna and a spare battery. Yeah, right. You've seen the topography of Connecticut. North-south running ridge lines. Hey, you've got a high ridge and a long ridge here, right? Good things. So you need more. Let's think it through. When the local repeater goes silent, and I believe you've had some instances of that recently, in the last couple of years. Just how well is that little HT going to perform for voice and data? With 4 watts, are you really going to make the connections? Not unless you've got a super antenna going. Maybe. Let's talk about Go terminology. How many people play the game of Go? 1, 2. Okay. Fun game. I talk about what is a Go box. A Go box is a container that houses your radios, and operating components. What is a Go kit? A Go kit is the pile of stuff that you need to bring to support that Go box. What do you think could be in that Go Go kit?
Cables and
Coax and cables. Yes. Someone else. Batteries. Yes. What else? Adapters. Power supply. Well, that'd be part of in your Go box itself. Batteries, cables, connectors. Generator. Sure. What else?
spare antennas.
Antennas and spares. Great stuff.
Flashlight.
Flashlight, yes. Hand tools. Multimeter.
First aid and medication for the operator.
That's those bottles are left in the other bag. What else?
Manual for the radio.
Manual for the radio, indeed. Actually, many people would keep that in the Go box itself with the radio, so it's right there. But you've got the right idea. You have a laugh in the back.
We are ham radio operators.
Are we? Gosh, I'm in the wrong place.
There's a second thought here. There's a second. We're ham radio operators. High energy snacks.
Yes, but that's what will be with something else. Thank you. So you got the right idea. And being organized, having your Go kit organized, at a Hamfest, I picked up a wonderful old style video camera fiberglass suitcase, if you will, with had foam in it. I ripped all that out and I coil my coax in there. Whatever coax I'm using, it goes there, my anchors go there. I've got a whole bunch of good stuff in that box as well. What is a Go bag? A Go bag is the packed camping backpack that will support you for 3 days. There are your high energy snacks. There's your water filter. There's your water container. There's your freeze-dried foods, your cook stove, your sleeping bag, pad, maybe a tent if you need it. You need to be self-contained and not be a drag or a load on the environment that you're servicing. How many people heard that talk about the fellow who went to do a 12-hour shift at Ground Zero? He went there on a 12-hour shift, expecting relief at hour 12. 3 days later, he got relief. So be the good Boy Scout, be prepared. Okay, mantra for UHF and VHF communications. All together, line of sight, come on. Line of sight. 20-foot height, it rhymes to a point. Half-inch low loss, and 20 to 25 watts. Those are the 4 of the 5 key items that will help you with having successful VHF, UHF communications. And we've got options. There are 3 basic missions. The first mission is to provide portable mobile VHF, UHF voice communications, 2 meters 440, for a single 12-hour shift without being a net control station duty, not having those duties, okay? You're basically a field station, over at a shelter or whatever, fine. What do you need? You need a mobile 2 meter 440 antenna, radio, with 5 to 50 watts depending, or an HT with an amplifier. And an external 12-volt battery, 55 amp hours. That's what you need. Anything else, and you're cutting your throat. You're going to come up short. You work the numbers. You're going to be a field station. You're going to transmit for 5 minutes an hour. You're going to listen for 55. You do the load calculations, and you'll come up with that. What else? Intermediate mission. To operate independently for a single 12-hour shift without you having net control duties, and to provide portable, mobile, VHF, UHF voice and data communications, and have the ability to use either AC or DC power. It's nice to be able to plug into the AC and use it, right? But when it goes, it's gone and you need backup. So, what do you need? Again, the same radio or radios and an external 12-volt battery, 55 amp hour. You can do it with that. And again, we all know that we never want to drop a battery down below 50%, unless you want to buy new batteries more frequently. We're talking about deep cycle batteries of any of the 3 major chemistries. Speaking of which, you've got a lead acid wet cell battery. Why do you want to vent that outside the room when you're charging it?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
Flammable.
What happens when you light a mattress or click a switch?
You
Boom.
can see better.
How many people have actually seen wall switches spark? Amazing. So, full service mission to operate independently for a 12-hour shift with net control duties, and to provide voice data communications, HF and VHF, UHF, and HF, and the ability to use AC power or DC power. Again, core. You see a repeating structure here. What do you need? A battery, and you need radio and batteries. Mobile, dual band. Again, the variability so that you can cut it down to what you need. You know, we always in our licensing, we talk about learning using the least amount of power to make the connection, right? How many of us do that in real life? Just punch it 50 watts in the car and boogie out of this tiny little antenna. But here is where it really meets, where it's really important to extend your battery life. You want to have that flexibility to reduce your power to what you need to get done, or to maximize it to get through. And there's a difference between voice communications and data communications. If you don't have the power for data, you're dead. You need 2 external 12-volt batteries, 110 amp hour rating or better. That because you're talking high load. As a net control station, you're doing a lot of talking, you're doing a lot of some listening, but you're busy. Okay. Any questions so far? If you have questions, please write them down, and we'll talk about them at the end. Introducing the new and improved GoBox. It's dual purpose. Emergency disaster communications and a grab-and-go portable fun box. And that's the part of it. We want to focus on the grab-and-go portable fun box, but have the fallback secondary use of being able to use it to respond to emergency and disaster communications. How we communicate. We use voice, VHF. We use voice, HF. We use classic packet radio for data communications and RMS Express. These are the standards here in Connecticut. Now in southern New Jersey, where I was, they use D-Star, D-Rats, which is a variation on the theme. And if you know one, it's not too difficult to learn the other. But again, this is what we're using as our common mode of communicating. GoBox basic components. You need a radio. I'm talking about VHF, UHF, or HF, depending on what the box is. Some people, you'll see, will put HF and VHF, UHF in one box. I do 2. I have one for VHF, UHF. I have one for HF. That way I'm carrying no more than 25 pounds in either hand, and I'm balanced load. You need an AC DC power supply. An easy gate or power gate. It's an automatic power switch that also does battery charging when you have AC power. A rig runner, a fused power distribution box, a TNC. Who knows what TNC is? Tell me what a TNC is. T means what?
Terminal.
Keep going.
No.
Go. And SCI.
Yeah.
Sound card interface. Okay.
And a reminder, because people always forget this, spare fuses for your fused
Yes.
devices.
Yes.
Because you will blow fuses.
That's part of my Go kit. I have spare fuses. Stay. Let's see. These are the connectors that allow your radio to go digital across the air and back and forth. GoBox considerations. You need ventilation. Nothing kills into a piece of electronics faster than what? Heat. I have an ICOM 706. I love the little thing. But if I have it on a table outside under a canopy in the summertime and I just let it sit there, it tends to go hot. Yes, sir.
Watch them. They fry. We fried one on field day.
I put a modification on the back, a little fan that runs all the time, and I've got a spare fan that I can plug in, 4-inch fan, and blow the whole case cold. Weight limit. Again, I recommend 25 pounds for a one-man hand carry. You know how much 25 pounds weighs?
Yes.
My VHF, UHF GoBox, which you'll see in a bit, only weighs 23 pounds. I like that. Need to standardize on connectors, Anderson power poles, and have a variety of adapters to use as well. Some people may have a cigarette lighter that they'll want to use for their cell phone or whatever. So you can have these adapters available and still use your distribution power block from the rig runner. Okay, Go Box examples.
Thank you.
Here's my Go Box. Whoa, it should. This is the early version. Okay, what you see here are count them, two radios. This radio is for voice on 2 meters and 440, and this is for data communications. I have a power supply, and I've got a Cantronis KPC3 Plus TNC, and I'm going to boast. I got that TNC with connecting cables at a Hamfest for $50. That brand new sells on the market for how much? $200. So, if you find a KPC3 or 3 Plus, even the 3s, my friend Ned K1CVV will help up-chip it to the last possible version before it got changed to the 3 Plus. You'll have a machine that's almost as good and very user-friendly and very useful. You'll also see a microphone, yay. But behind that is the rig runner with the fuses for the Anderson power pole points. Does anyone not know what a rig runner is? Okay, good. Here's a top-down view. Again, here are the radios. Here's the rig runner, 4005, and the Easy Gate. Power in, power out, battery in. So no matter where you're getting your power from, if you're getting the AC power in, then it's feeding your power system and charging the battery. As soon as you lose your AC power, the battery clicks right over and life is good.
Why two radios? You said one for data, one for...
Right. As a field station, you can get away with using one radio and switching in and out. As a net control station, you're going to want to have one radio, one antenna here, one antenna here, one for data and one for communications, for voice. So basically I can have this operating as a two-man station, which makes my life easier.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I understand that one of the radios is UHF, VHF, and the other one is HF.
No, well, here you go. This man has Nikon 7000 and a UHF, VHF antenna here. Radio here with a Cantronics, and he probably also has a sound card interface for his HF unit.
Okay.
Okay, so it all depends what your mission, where you see yourself going.
Are you saying in the previous box you had two VHF, UHF units?
Yes. Right, two VHF, UHF units. I also have a separate box that's not complete yet, but that has my 706, everything here, just the one radio, everything here plus the sound card interface. So this is how I'm operating it. Now I love this. This case, does anyone recognize what sort of case that is? That's a Gator box. And I forget the actual number, whether it's a 4L or 2L. It's probably a 4L, 4 levels, and it's rack mounting. And what's really nice is, up here, you can see the end of the lid, of the front lid and the bottom lid. They come across here, lock it, clip in place and lock. And so you've got protection frontal, protection at the back. You take both off and you've got airflow. Remember I talked about ventilation? There it is. I like to also have a fan going, but that's another option. Oh, and here is his battery. There's the battery box on the right. Here's something simple. It's a Kenwood 700 series UHF VHF antenna with 2 speakers, because with this radio you can have left and right channels. and is very pleasant. He's got a small battery in the bottom, 18 amp hour battery. He also has a easy gate type product in there, power switch. And again, my only complaint is that to operate this successfully, you really need to have the lid cracked open so you can have some air going in and out. Let's see. Here it is with APRS mapping and an extra battery. This is fun. This is called the canned ham. This is the back side of this metal box, and you can see the antenna connections and what have you. My concern about that is those items are exposed to getting whacked and stressed. So something to consider about when you design it. Do you really want to do that? And they're exposed to the elements because they don't have any covers on them. Here's what it looks like opened up. It's a mess, but it works. He's got a charging unit at the bottom. He's got his power supplies on the bottom right. There's his 7062. He's got an auto tuner. He's got his 2-meter UHF VHF radio there. He's got lighting. That was before LEDs. He's totally complete. Almost like the old Boy Scout carry box, you know, for your cooking box. And as you can see, he has paperwork slid under plastic down here, so for reference. And of course, he's got supports to hold down that lid as a work surface, as a tray, desktop. Here's a bigger version of the Gator box. This is a 6L or 6U, whatever it's called. And you can see the HF antenna. He's got a scanner there. He's got his another radio in there, plus his Alinco power supply. And what's really cool is this drawer at the bottom that's lockable, where he can store all his, he can throw his microphone, he can throw his logbooks and other things in that drawer and keep them out of the way, but yet accessible. Here's a very cool design. What do you notice first? The fan for ventilation. Right. He's got his power supplies. He's got his battery booster. What's the thinking on battery boosters here? Are you for them or against them? And do you know the limitations and problems inherent of using them? Something to research and think about. I'm still on the fence about using one, but there's the rig runner for power supply, and he's got a, what's that material? Polyethylene deck that he's thrown in there. Let's see if I have the back underside. No. Here's another one. Again, a plastic box where he built a frame inside and then mounted everything to that and then shoved it in. It's an HF station with a
Tuner.
LDG. Thank you. 100 tuner, Z100 tuner, and life is good. Thinking bigger, because we're from Texas, aren't we? The Pod Runner, the Go Box and Go Kit.
Wow.
That's what I was using this past weekend.
It's a castle.
You will notice.
There's a tent on top, right?
That's canopy, right? Also is the that one I believe is also the solar. No, that's not. That is gasoline generators. But when it opens up, lid comes up like this. Lid comes. This is horizontal to this point, and there's this front plate that folds down to make a very nice writing surface. With a plexiglass piece running the entire length, 5 feet or so, they can slide your things under. You can have 3 operators here. Drawers to hold things. This drawer holds digital and analog HTs and their charging unit, their charging bases hooked into a strip at the back. So when you put it in and you connect the power to shore power, these are being charged. In here, this is the microphones drawer. All these microphones get unplugged and put in that drawer in foam, slotted out, cut out foam, slotted drawers. This was shakedown crews for all those this season. And these are brand new, fresh off the truck. And
Is this manufactured or is it?
yes. There's a company, and then I've got the link down below, that makes these boxes on these scissor-jacked carriages, and they make a special Class 3, Class 4 mounting hitch to go into your Class 3, Class 4 receiver. And what it is a plate. And in the plate there's a circle for this big pin to drop into. And each side of that, I'm not sure if you can see it properly, but there are dogs, if you will, little tabs, blocks, that fit into square holes either side of that. And then with a little shove forward, it locks the whole mount in place, and life is good. You connect your trailer lights, and then crank the crank up, or crank it down, crank the wheels up, turn this 90 degrees, and you're rolling.
God, I'm impressed.
Until the guy behind you tailgating you manages to rear-end you.
Well, it's big enough to get your attention.
Had to be paid for.
What town in southern New Jersey?
This is Camden. Actually, Southern New Jersey Areas is working with Cooper Union Hospital and the Southern Medical Coordination Center, and the state is funding money through the hospitals to this. So Southern New Jersey Areas, their big client is medical.
Now, when they mount that on the vehicle,
Yes,
the scissor lifts up and lifts the wheels off the ground?
that's right. And then the wheels will actually, you'll unpin the wheel fitting, and it will rotate up to the
Go
horizontal.
back to the previous shot so
Yes.
people can see.
How much does something like that cost?
The base box and carriage is about $4,500.
That's without any
Truck
radios in
executive.
it.
These are designed to be trucked, helicoptered into place, slung on a helicopter, go places, and put in the field.
Use Ursul's truck for that.
I'm sorry?
Use Ursul's truck. Looks
Well,
like
you do it too.
mine's a Chevy, that's a Ford.
That's a Ford 150, four-door machine. I had a nice ride in that, brand new, but that was someone else's. You'll notice that the antennas, you have two dual band 442 meters. You've got a 220 and a 1.2 gig antennas. My complaint about this is that they want, in good weather, they'll put a canopy over it, and the canopy barely clears the antennas. But also, do you really want to be sitting here with 50 watts coming out of there? No. I see this as a great indoor use device where you can wheel it in and out and around. You can go through a standard door, because the sides are about 24 inches square. And then I'd like to see remote antennas mounted outside, ground mount or whatever, again, for radiation issues.
Can I
Yes.
ask a question? If you were sitting under some sort of aluminum kind of barrier protection that helped to deflect the radiation away from you,
No, just the opposite.
No, you had to buy foil hat.
what could you use to deflect it away from you?
Tinfoil
Put the barrier between you and the antennas.
Closed, very closely copper mesh on a frame around your whole body, around your whole operating position.
No, the answer
Grounded.
is you should not be that close to the
No,
antenna.
no, I understand.
Right.
I was just asking a question
Right.
as to what would be a possible deflector?
There's a, what's the box called? The
Faraday.
Faraday
shield,
cage.
which is a complete metal case around you that's grounded. But you'd be in the metal case and you can't breathe. That's about it.
You can't move.
Yeah, you can't move. You'd have to move on. We'll move the antennas.
Yeah, really.
Move the
Move on.
antennas.
I forget, I think this was a
Cell phones inside the nylon bag.
Kenwood 400D or something, and it was showing APRS signals. And there I am Saturday morning, and this thing is blinking at me, and I'm saying, gosh, AB1JC-11. What is he doing down here? He wasn't. He was up at the Bridgeport Science Museum launching a balloon that went up to 89,000 feet. That was signaling. So it's a very good operating position. Okay for outside in good weather, but come cold weather, rainy, sleet, snow, soft ground, you'd want to carry your own couple of sheets of plywood so you could roll it. Those wheels will not do well. These can weigh up to anywhere between 400 and 600 pounds.
You don't want to use it this past field day.
Just,
Yes.
what is Cooper Union Hospital? I've never heard of it. Is it related to the college?
Yes. It's a teaching hospital and is quite good down there.
I mean, is it related to Cooper Union in New York City?
I don't know. Probably not.
Please.
You can do your online research later. Okay, you ready for the ultimate?
Yes.
Oh,
Jeff, I got pictures of that.
Did you have that up at the Nutmeg, or have I seen that at the Nutmeg?
That you've seen that at Nutmeg. You also saw it at the ARRL Centennial Convention.
You might have parked across the street from where I was set up.
Right, exactly.
last year.
This is the ultimate as far as I'm concerned. That little white box that's tied up inside the door, that's an air conditioning unit that can be piped in. They also have a heater. Two generators, two of your favorite generators, the ICOM EU2000Is.
You mean the Honda?
The Hondas, what did I say?
Icon.
ICOM. Well, you know ICOM makes the same thing. But one sits in this door and the other sits in the other door, on the other side.
who owns this?
This belongs to Aries Region 4, which is the other side of Old Saybrook to the Rhode Island border and north. Funded by FEMA funds several years ago. Let's see. Go Kid. You need antennas. Again, the mantra is line of sight, 20-foot height, half-inch low-loss coax. Who here is using RG8X for VHF, UHF? Please go ahead and jump out the window. Go and look at the specs for loss per 100 feet, and it will scare you. And you're wondering how you're making contacts.
But it's easy if the antenna's sitting right in front of you, like on that box. You're not going to have that. I'm kidding you, Douglas.
Right, but this is an important point. Remember, when we don't have power and we're relying on a battery, we need to have the most effective and efficient signal we can get going up and out to that antenna. It's not going to happen with an RG8X piece of quarter-inch coax. You need a half-inch low-loss coax. I like the, typically we think in terms of LMR 400. In its original form, it's too delicate for field use. You want a flexible center core. So I use a low-loss Berry flexible half-inch coax that will take my abuse. LMR has a flexible mount as well, but I understand, again, the fittings are a little tight getting them put on. Again, and why 20 feet? Why 20 feet in the sky? Anybody?
Height is everything.
Height is everything. But a single man can put up a 20-foot mount. And this simulates a single story mount height. So you're doing the best you can with what you've got. Well, sure, we'd love to put it up 40 feet, but that's going to take a team of people. I promote the use of dual band antennas that are 5'2" in height, and I know Comet makes the GP3, Jetstream makes the JTB3, and who's the other one? Diamond? Diamond makes another one in the same category. Whatever floats your boat, I think they're all made at the same factory with slightly different trimmings. But they're all gain antennas because we all know that the J-poles, as nice as they are a unit of gain. And what does that mean? 1 to 1. Sorry, 1 to 1. No gain. You want everything in your favor. Even better than that, depending, you want one of those perhaps, but you also want a beam that you can target to a specific location. Again, so that you can get the signal out, reduce your power as best you can, and extend your battery life. Because you might not be there for 12 hours. You may be there for longer. In Region 2, we've been working on this, and this is a basic speaker stand, speaker tripod, with a stub that can come up to about here. And this is the bottom of what used to be a 16-foot extendable flagpole from Harbor Freight. They since discontinued it, and so they're doing 20-footers, which is fine. But those were on sale on clearance, so you can't go wrong. And here it is at a distance. So you've got about a 3-foot gain, 3-foot distance here approximately, 16 feet here. So you're talking about a 20-foot mount right there with a 1/2-inch low-loss coax. And we did tests across Region 2. We tested at different power settings. What will 5 watts do? What will 20 or 25 watts do? What difference does 50 watts make to 20 or 25 watts? None in voice. And so why waste the power when 20 watts, 25 watts will do the job? Again, there's the fellow where you saw that Go box before, and he was using, I think it was plastic pipe or metal pipe, I forget, but those tent stakes that are used in the Army, and he has his own tripod there, similar arrangement. Here's the one that I used at a bike-a-thon in Shelton. I secured it to, there I was pointing at the mast, I secured it to the posts of this big solid tent, and with a tripod, so it was solid, it wouldn't fall over. I didn't have to even bother guying the top of it, so that was good. There it is, there's the 5'2" dual band antenna with the short radials there. Life is good. Okay, resources. Connecticut Areas Region 2 website, ctareasregion2.org. Go to forums, hit prepared. Hit forums, go see go, and everything. A lot of what I have put here is all there. Also, the Cooper Union Hospital.
It's not Cooper Union, it's actually no relation. Cooper University Hospital.
I'm sorry, Cooper University. Thank you. I'm so used to, there you go. Cooper University Hospital, and it's thepodrunner.com, and you can find their recent builds on their website. Let's see.
We're fine on time, so.
Well, I know. But I have an old philosophy. A wise man once told me, the mind can absorb as much as the seat can endure. So, and again, this is me. If you need to get a hold of me, I don't know why, but you're more than welcome to. As you can see, I take the subject seriously, passionately, because I've seen the failures and I've seen the successes, and I'd rather you folks had successes when the lights go out than having to sit on your thumbs, sit on your butt and suck your thumbs. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Give us an idea of what you think the role of HF is for emergency communications, because you did mention having a side-by-side go box.
Sure.